I do apologize. Seems that we're rolling well, and we're going to be just getting straight through into it. All right. Well, we're 10 minutes late. I do apologize. Um, yeah, but I'll be fixing all of that, so don't worry. I think we're almost ready to roll. Just bear with me. And we're going to get started. So, welcome. This is the I Can't Escape Darkness audio mini series. This is basically a stream of, excuse me, how I approached the I Can't Escape Darkness music and sound design. Today marks the 1 year anniversary of the game. So, yay! Happy birthday, I Can't Escape Darkness. It was a hell of a ride and a lot of dark days. But as you guys know, Fancy Fish Games contracted me to do the music for I Can't Escape Darkness. And this is the sequel to I Can't Escape, which was released, if this was a year, this would be about 3 years ago now from the original. And that was the first game I believe I did with Fancy Fish Games. Shout out to David Milletz and Natalie Milletz. And they were awesome. And they helped me through the process of what was going on. But the reason I wanted to do this is to kind of showcase and get a little bit more practice with the streaming of how my thought process and my creative ideas have come together for what came to be known for the soundtrack and the sound design for the game, because I really put a lot into it. I came up with a lot of innovative ideas, as far as at least I think so, and that hard work really paid off and allowed me to be nominated for Artist of the Year on VGMO online, and that was a really big honor, and I'm very humble to have been nominated for that. So what is this miniseries going to be about? You're probably asking yourself. This is going to be like a 30-minute to 1 hour, like I said, process to show like how I started and where my ideas that I got through and stuff like that. I do apologize. I think the system might be a little taxed in the sense of because it was a lot of audio processing that I went and did for certain things. But my idea is to kind of just go through track by track over the course of the weekends of September and October, until the end of the tracks, and it's most of the sound effects. And if you guys have any questions or anything, and if you're watching, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you, whether it be live or whether it be on when I export it to YouTube. So, like I said, it's going to be a mini series to revisit in a shorter time of how I approach the music and sound design for the game, and to discuss how the project came to be. So, Fancy Fish Games, David had came to me and said, you know what, we're going to do a sequel. About 250,000 people played the original game. Markiplier played I Can't Escape. You can look it up on YouTube. It was a really big deal. It was pretty cool. He had a lot of fun. He said it was frightening. He doesn't curse. He says fudge, so I thought that was pretty funny. And so we started off with some. They started off with some. We got a different artist named Matt. The original artist was Josh, I believe. I forgot his last name, but if you go play the original game on there, you can see. And pull it up real quick. If you want to play the original game, you're just not hearing about it, you have no idea. You can hear that this is the game. So Josh Dosky, and as you see, he has like the link, very nice, in the I Can See Darkness. So you can go to Newgrounds. You can also go to Game Jolt and look up this game and play it. And this is my music playing in the back that I did for that. But we are going to focus on the music that I did for this one. So I am going to get started so you guys what my thought process was for. But apologize for the pregnant pause. So this is my session, and what I wanted to do was was grabbing some early inspiration for the game. So this is how I was getting started from it in the beginning. And what I did was I was just talking to David about all the different like art and things that I was getting inspired by from when I was seeing the game. And he was sending art over and we were taking a look at it, and it was just really coming together extremely well. So I started thinking of some ideas and thinking like how dark I wanted it to sound and other things as well. And so slowly but surely I was getting like some of the art. And I remember some of the art that I got was something similar to, if I could find it, the rat. The rat. So this is the rat that you see in the game. This has nothing to do with the music, but actually, well, it does later on. This is like a kind of a sprite sheet, if you will, for the rat is walking, and this is like a 3D type of space game in the sense that you walk by the spaces of the squares where you're going through the game, and so it's 3D dimensional in the sense of like think of the Windows 95 screensaver. And so, this is some of the stuff that I was looking at early on. And what else? A couple other things. Kind of hard to go back and look at it, but do my best to try and find. Like tile maps and things like this. So I don't think I actually have builds of the game. I will for the other stuff, but when I did see these, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is great. And I was really excited. So I went into the game. I got to build a game, and I played like the lighting. They were messing around with that, and they got the first of the level pretty much mapped out. So what I did was I went into Cubase. I have like a timeline of these things. I was thinking, all right, well, let's write the theme of what this is going to be because that's most important. So I originally had started out with just this. Hopefully these play. It doesn't play in here. I know where it will. Navigate. Like I said, this session hasn't been open up for like a year or that. So some of these aren't going to play all the way, but hopefully in the forward mini series I can get that going. Pads I had. Definitely is that comes a little bit later. those were some of the things I had started out with early, and that was in this layer here that I had created. And these audio cues would play if when I had told them to. They do. They will. Doesn't want to. Great. The whole point of this is for it to probably because um so like I said, I was just experimenting with the openings of that, and David had said, "Oh, these sound great. This is definitely in a good mood for what we're looking for. So just keep on going forward with that." And I was like, "Okay." So when realized I got the mood and the tone of the game, I decided I want to get the timbre down as well, and I wanted to get the theme. What I meant to say, sorry. So I decided to write the theme that came up. I was very scratchy. I apologize, but because of the processing, it's really taxing on whole. Like the next series is probably going to be a little bit more streamlined. So for the theme, it was C to B flat and G A F. Uh, the sample library I used actually called Angling, the Sound of Death. Right here, kind of weird, odd instrument thing that I had of what, and it really gave the sound that I was looking for. Because originally I was gonna record my friend's like really out of tune piano, but I didn't have the proper mic set that I needed for that yet, so I didn't fortunately record that piano. But this came in handy very well, and I used that theme throughout the music. Excuse me, throughout the game going forward. So that is the theme for I Can Escape Darkness, and I can. That was such a horrible play. I play actual version for you. The reason I wrote that theme is I really wanted to capture the feeling and the mood of like this is definitely like going to be. If you thought the first one was dark, this one is the most dark, and I want you to feel like there's like no hope for you left, and fate is all ended. So I really just that just came to me, and it worked so well with just the eeriness and the like horror, not the horror, but like the moan and groan of like someone just like suffering, and that's the theme of I Can Escape Darkness. So moving on, there's some risks that I wanted to take within the game, and the risks that I wanted to take were I wanted to try out this vertical layering technique because I found it extremely very effective, and I felt it was salient to have instead of just the normal like loops of each one and of another. So I just made sure that it was a little bit difficult for me in the beginning because I had to figure out how things were going to fade in, how long it was going to be, and then ultimately how the soundtrack was going to be layered out. So I remember being extremely stressed about this because I never done it before, and most people use middleware like Fmon and Wise, and I really didn't have the time to kind of really learn it that fast and to get things together. And again, even though it took like about a year or two of development, I still really didn't have a lot of time to kind of get it right, and I felt like it was going to be more, excuse me, difficult to learn that middleware as opposed to doing it natively. Also, David had built the engine from scratch, so I didn't know if the middleware was even going to work, which we found out it wasn't. So because it was not supported by OpenAL, so he OpenGL. So ultimately, I had to learn how to do it in the DAW itself, and then I had scripted it in, which I'm going to get to later in the mini series as well. So that one you heard there was the bass. That was the theme, and so what you see here is the bass. And I'll probably just be covering the bass in floor one today. And next time I'll be covering floor two and three, so it will give you a little bit more an idea of like where I was from and bass for you. I actually know that floor one is gonna play, but play the bass first and the other. The bass is as you can tell, like you heard the theme near the end, and that's because it loops around there. So it and pretty much follow where everything you guys can again. Time. I set these atmos for the pads. Got that drone pad going. That's the layer pad here. Here's the filter. Name should be coming up. And so that was the base. So now when you move into the first, when you guys play the game, you'll notice like that base actually got placed into the beginning of the game. So it's basically like the menu of the game, say, because that's actually where it ended up. I'm gonna run it. And you guys can hear. So as you can see, that music is placed there. That's where it starts until you decide to play the game. I thought that was a really fitting opening for it. So that's for that. Now, how did I do floor one? So floor one is when you start the game. That's where the player starts off and they explore around and they do other things. So I decided to take a different. I had to keep the same bass because in order for it to transition, it needs to be in the same like key, and I didn't feel like getting all technical and modulating and doing all that stuff if I didn't need to just yet. So, if the floor bass is going to play, and this is I decided to bring a little bit more character and lively feeling, to say the least, to the game. So I played the recorder, and I also added like the other pads and other stuff that I created in Contact together. And this is what. So that is how I did the floor one. You hear that I have the flute here, just basically playing some one tone notes and added it with master verb from Wave Arts I used, grouped it together, put it on a channel, and then that gave it that effect. For so playing through the entirety of all of that. This actually is 3 layers, flute one, flute three, and pretty much it. And you heard that there was a chant in here because I really felt like the game was telling me that it was in the Aztec or Mayan like culture. So I ended up going with more of an Aztec rituals and chants that I found in libraries that I have, and I have them things there. And I'll get to, and as we get further down into the list, then we can hear what I really created from scratch in terms of like their old language that they used to speak, that some people actually do still speak to this day. So I want to talk a little bit about my sound palette and ideas that I had at the beginning. So I usually created like a notepad of things that come to me fast, and I name it sound palette and ideas. I found that Loop Masters and Sound Bible Junkyard Effects was cool. I'll have to learn notes like such as on the hard drive so that I know where it is. Since Magic Phobos 2, I ended up not using that. Homegrown Alchemy, I did end up using that. That's actually where some of the pads came from. Best Service, New Tech Grooves, New Tech Sound Effects Loops. I don't remember if I did. Here's that Kangling, The Sound of Death, which is a theme which is used for the theme of I Can't Escape Darkness. The that one, and the Hollywood Edge Erie Edition. Just there's certain things. I tried this Regent loop layer looper that didn't really work out too well. Shadow samples. I don't even know what I meant by that. And I'm gonna go through this list a little bit more, but this is kind of like where I had started in the beginning, at least until there for what you've heard so far. So with that, I created the bass and the 4-1, and for the sake of clarity, play it one time. Play the run. This track is called First Floor, Fate, Rite of Passage. So that was again Rite of Passage, First Floor, Faith. And like I said, I used just a simple wooden recorder flute. I felt it was a little bit more organic since that's probably what would be playing down there as a wooden instrument, and it worked out very well. I feel like that piece is specifically to feel like that's to give you hope. That's why I call it, have faith. You just walk down the pit, you're trapped there. I'll try not to give spoilers for those who are interested in buying the game or trying it. But it's not supposed to feel foreboding just yet. Those stuff, that's just the giveaway. If I started off that intense, I guess on the first floor, it would just be a giveaway of that things are coming. And not to say that things aren't coming on the first floor, but it's just to make you feel a little bit at ease and ease you into the labyrinth. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. And like I said, if you have any questions, please, if you're watching live, you can ask me and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you have any other questions, when I will export this to YouTube, then I can answer them on the channel. I always get back to folks that comment on my videos, and I appreciate you guys watching and commenting. And I am more than thankful when you guys retweet and like and favorite all those posts and such. So I'm probably going to end it a little bit early, and because I actually have some new music to write, and not for this game, of course, but a different game that I'm working on Fancy Fish games with in the future. So we will be, I believe I will be streaming. I'll probably try to stream again on the 24th if all goes well. And if not, I definitely have something set for October 1st, start of the Halloween month, the horror month it is. Also, if you are interested in and you like what you hear so far, I have made the I Can't Escape Darkness soundtrack $1. You get about 24 tracks for just $1, and I'm going to be having that all the way up until Halloween. So take advantage, share with your friends. If you like it, love it. If it's something you want to get into the mood for Halloween for, it definitely covers all those bases. A lot of ambience, a lot of weird noises and sounds and ritual things and so on and so forth. And like I said, I'm going to be getting into the nitty gritty of other things. And I apologize for the quality of like things skipping and such like that. Like it's just a little bit taxing to stream and have the digital audio workstation open with all these processing effects and so on and so forth. So I appreciate your patience a lot. But in the meantime, I will be leaving it there. And like I said, you can reach me anytime. I'm at Chase Bethea on Twitter. And you can check me out on Facebook as well. I am on there. Say hello. Until then, I hope you can escape the maze of audio in between. I don't really know how to end it. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And good night.